Hey, howdy everyone, Tony here. I hope you're doing well. Today I will be utilizing the TDU method of analysis to look for potential setups in the charts. Let's see what we can find. First, if you want to learn more about the TDU method, check out the site. If this video is helpful or you learned something new, please like and subscribe to stay updated with my analysis. Now let's dive into it. So I got ETH up here ready to go. Looking on the weekly, I think we can all agree that this looks like a damn fine zigzag down. Question, is this move up? Is it corrective? Is it motive? I think there's viable arguments on either side. I am not 100% sure, and when I'm not sure, I don't label it confidently because then I can get skewed into thinking that way. Again, right now, I think there's multiple ways we can count this, and it's a pretty ugly asset, to be honest. This move up does not look the most impulsive. It could be some kind of motive, expanding diagonal potentially, and that would put us at either a top here. This could be a wave 4 and then 5 and we're done and we're heading down, or this could be some kind of ABC as far as a flat goes. So maybe it's some kind of double zigzag in there. That's what pops out just looking at this just from this angle. Typically in the wave B of a flat, we want something that looks a little more like this. The A wave is going to be sharp, the wave B is going to be less sharp, and then the wave C is going to be the sharpest move to freak everybody out. We sweep the low, grab the liquidity, and then move on up. So I'm not taking that off the table yet. Again, if this is some kind of corrective move, we could still be putting in some kind of larger correction sideways, and we never even come down here. We still need to figure that out, and Ethereum itself needs to figure that out as well. PA isn't super apparent as far as the Elliott Wave goes. But again, my fallback is levels, algos, geometry, all that kind of stuff. Today, I just wanted to talk more about the area or the range that we're in right now and how important this area is. It is an area of interest. As you can see here, we have the algo entry area as well as the levels here. And then we also have a little node, a nodey down here at about the 65 that could add to our confluence area of interest here. There's a gap here, so we could be coming down to fill that or test that area, and it always looks like buyers seem to step in this area. As we can see in the past, it's played as resistance, it blasted up above, played as support, and on every time it comes to this area, it always plays as support or resistance, it seems, either breaking up or breaking down beneath it. So again, because it has this pass behind it, I think looking here for a potential bounce is not the worst idea. This whole thing, I think right now, just looks like a giant megaphone. I've been seeing a lot, or broadening wedge, I should say. I've been seeing a lot of these moves where we're just sweeping liquidity up and down, pretty much going sideways. So that could be what's going on here too. In the world of Elliott Wave, this kind of move is typically set up either as a 4-5, or it could be some kind of flat as well that sweeps highs and lows and then continues on in whichever direction the primary trend was going. The other reason you can see like this kind of move here is if it's come 4 or 5 as well. So there is a couple possibilities in this PA. I'm not 100% confident personally on what I think this is. That doesn't really stop me from playing these moves in here. So what I typically do when I don't know what all this is, and being a long-term holder on ETH, I really don't give a shit. I'm going to hold on to it for a while. So needing to know the larger degree is not something I always need to know before I start trading in the lower degrees here. I can be pretty aggressive depending on what kind of happens in the PA. One thing I don't need though is all the context here. I'm looking for patterns within the smaller degree to potentially trade, and just sitting in my longer term position and not worrying about the larger degree. So not knowing what this is doesn't stop me from playing lower degrees. And I don't think it should for any elitician that has faith in their system, where it's a pattern based system and it supposedly happens at every single time frame. So just because we don't know the larger picture here doesn't mean we're stopped from playing the lower degrees, and we can't play Elliott Wave in a bubble. It is nice to have context for sure. It adds to the confluence of your potential entry or idea, but we don't really need it. So all this stuff over here, again, I'm not 100% confident on what I think all this stuff is in here. That's not going to stop me from playing the lower degrees. And that's what I've been doing here on at the smaller degree here. Go down to the 4 hour. I think, again, this can be counted in several different ways. And I think I wouldn't argue too hard one way or another in my belief of what it is personally. So right now, I think the two major ones I'm seeing is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for extended fifth wave here. And then we get an extension in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish the wave 5. So that is one option. Typically, after an extension, though, we want to see a quick turn and a quick dump. If that didn't happen here, we did some waffling sideways. And even this, I'm not 100% sure. It could be a couple things. Again, when that happens, you look for patterns at the smaller degree. If you think something is playing out, you can still take advantage of that without knowing what the hell all this stuff is. And as I said before, typically when I don't have an idea of what the Elliott wave is, and being a master Elliotician, I know the limits of the method as well. I know that if I put some random shit all over here, it's not going to help anybody, especially myself, to figure out where we are. I'm looking for no-brainer patterns that deal with the guidelines and the rules, and not just fives and threes, and where I think the best hopium count would be. That's not really how I roll. I'm jealous of people that can just put numbers and letters all over the place and has it work out. It doesn't really work out for me that way. Typically, I am looking for a no-brainer ideal setup and pattern. So that's where I'm at. That's why I don't put out counts all over the place, because I'm actually looking for trade setups. I'm not looking for a count. And if I don't have confidence in the count, I don't have confidence in the trade setup, I'm not going to be posting that all over the place. But anyway, getting into the weeds here. So one thing I have been playing again, because this could be so many different things, is I'm leaning on my other methods that I use within Trade Devil's University method, the TDU method, which includes geometry, includes levels, and includes algos, and includes Elliott Wave, smart money concepts. It includes quite a bit of stuff, but I think it's all advantageous once you start seeing the things in the market. The other count that I have for this is a potential of a zigzag, and that could complete a larger degree if this is some kind of larger degree diagonal up or something. This could be the final zigzag up, and then that's it. This could be some kind of flat, like I said, and this is the B wave. Could be still a lot of things. Again, not going to get bogged down into that too much. But the major things that I've been playing has been support and resistances over here, along with some algo plays as well. So you can see here we have a blatant little pattern here of wicks and moves down into this area, and then immediate bounces up. So what that means is when this breaks down, I'm going to be looking for this to play as resistance. Again, when I'm looking at an area or a level, I'm looking at an area here. Levels to the tick happen, obviously. You can see, like here, they did pretty good, but typically it's not going to go to the tick. There we go. Blew that up for you. So it's not going to go to the tick every time. That's why we have nice little areas here to consider that we're coming into an area of interest or a level of interest. This happened to move it down. So as you can see in this area, we've played as support in the past when we broke down a nice deep break, not a breach. Breach happens when it only comes down a little bit and then we jump back in. This had a nice break. We came back correctively to that level of interest, and then we dumped down in what looks like a motive wave down here. So I think what we have here is a couple possibilities. So this could be a 1, 2. We don't have any overlap here. We could do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to be completing here. And looking at the EWO, we are getting some divergence here on the lower lows. Typically, when we're looking at an impulsive wave, we're looking at the momentum as well in the EWO to help us figure out where we are in the count. Typically, when we're looking at the EWO, we want a nice deep histogram in either direction, depending if it's bullish or bearish. We want to see the biggest move in the wave 3 and then divergence in the wave 5, telling us that there's a loss of momentum, bulls or bears or whoever are slowing down, and that it's almost time for a move up potentially. So as you can see here, we have a wave 3, a typical wave 3 histogram, and then we have some divergence in the wave 5 here. Also, what we're looking for on the EWO is a dip past the 0 line in the wave 4. So everything's adding up on here. Things adding up doesn't mean it's going to play out exactly as you expect, but this is adding to our confidence or confluence that either something's about to happen and we're about to turn, and then we should start looking for clues in the PA to potentially make an entry in the opposite direction. So, big fan of the EWO. I'd recommend looking into it for sure and using it as a confluent part of your Elliott Wave analysis. So everything's adding up on this so far. It's looking pretty good for a move down. Again, because this is so small compared to this, we could have a degree interpretation here, and this could be something a bit larger going on. But right now, I'm going to be leaning on this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can come back to it eventually. If we do get a turn, we're going to be a little bit hesitant because this isn't an ideal move, but we can still use all this stuff to our advantage to look for directional bias, and that's what we want at the end of the day. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if this is a B, C, X, A, guess what? They both point up just at varying degrees of price. So having a completed impulse, also what we're looking for is either a retrace of the full impulse, or we're looking for an internal retrace to that impulse for continuation. But the one thing we have in both those scenarios is direction. Just based off of our directional bias, we can profit off that trade, regardless of if it is a C, an internal retracement, or if it's a whole new move and it's an external retracement or push out of the impulsive range. So because of that, if this impulse is completing something, if this impulse is start of something, I don't really care as far as when it comes to trading. I want to figure out which direction we're going to go, and then I'm going to place my bets basically on where it's going to go. And if I take profit at the right locations, I'm going to make profit, and I'm going to be in a good profitable trade. So regardless of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to get a move up if it's a completed impulse. A, B, C, X, A, B, we still get a move up just at varying degrees and taking profit at certain points. Again, we'll be in profit. And if it turns out to be something other than what we thought and we got a runner, then we're still in and we can add as confluence and confidence builds in our bias movement. But enough about trading. Let's get back to the chart here. Again, I think this is the huge area that we were looking at from zoomed out. You can see we're coming into Wick City here on both sides. So this is a good spot to consider a turn. I don't think we're quite done yet at the smaller degree. We do have a nice looking kind of impulsive move here. We got either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, some kind of 4 in here. And then we're putting in the wave 5 now. So either this could be done at this point. We have to see if this low holds. But since we have this 3-wave move down here, we got to be a little bit suspicious. I have this as a triangle potentially, which would add up to this a little bit because of the degrees here. We don't want a small 2 and then a huge 4. So I want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. The degree size is a big deal. If this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, I think we're still in the parameters of the right look. But the big thing here is this 3-wave move down. Question is this part of the correction? And then this was a swift move down and we're ready to move up. But that remains to be seen. If we can hold this pivot and come into this golden zone like I think we're doing here, this could be the turnaround. We have other supports right here. So this could be a good spot to look here. Again, by the time you see this, it's probably going to be past its prime here, but we'll see. If we get this move down, then we're going to know that we have a potential for a move up. Now, if this is a wave 3, again, this could move all this stuff down here. We could still be in some kind of A, B, C, D, E triangle, and then we're going to dump down. We have to see how this plays out. Right now, I think this is a good spot to look for a C3 setup. Again, we have a nice swift move up. We have an internal retracement that looks a bit corrective to me at the moment. The only thing we have that's getting us a little sus is this area back here, this 3-wave move down. It's not a completed impulse. Typically, we want to see a nice swift move, impulsive motive wave done, and then we get the move up. We still haven't broken this lower high either. We've basically just been putting in lower highs and lower lows all the way down. This is what a downtrend looks like. So before we can flip that, we need to break this level for confirmation. But right now, we need to hold this low down here, which is in our area of interest at 2868. So by the time we end up seeing this could be the spot that we do the turnaround, which would be great. I want up just as much as everybody else does, but right now for trading, I don't think we're quite done yet, even though this would be a good kind of area to take a stab at it, in my opinion. We're already in the 50. So if we do end up getting a move up and breaking these lower highs, I think that's a good start. We need to break them and then not just blast past it. That doesn't mean it's done. We have to wait for that retracement back to a level of interest or back to an area of interest, fibs, what have you, geometry. We're looking for that retracement. We can get faked out all day with just spikes up in crypto. We get the spike up, everyone gets all hype and says the turn's coming, and then we get the spike back down, and everyone's quiet for a little bit. So right now, this is what I'm looking for. I took an entry down here just to see if we can get a little bit more momentum up, and then I'll be taking profits probably up around here, just in case this is some kind of bigger expanding diagonal or something else going on with where we have a zigzag coming in and not just a wave 3. If it turns into a wave 3 again, I'm looking for a blast of these levels and then a flip of something or hitting the most likely target for a wave 4 for an impulse up, and then the big move is going to be that. So just to spell it out real quick, again, I'm looking for a move up, some kind of move like that. I've already, if we get a blast up, come back down, I'll probably add here for the wave 5, and then I'm watching for something like that to come down, and that's where the big move is, because at this point I can go here, I can take this trade here if this plays out, and I'll play it short, and then I'm looking for the internal retracement to this larger degree impulse before getting in to move up. So we'll see how it works out. Again, the trades, the big trades I look for are C's and 3s. Those are the big ones. So this is an area of interest right now. Blast up. The next trade is going to be this move here and then this move here. So that's the short-term look. I want to zoom back out and just see what we're looking at for the larger degree here. All right, so back out here on the daily. So the first thing we want to see is a hold of 3,000, which it's battling right now, which is another confluent area of interest within that algo entry area. Another piece of confluence for an entry there. But if we do end up moving back up, we need to start breaking out back above these levels of interest here. You can see that it's played as resistance all the way down. So breaking back above that is going to be the key here, especially this downtrend. This could be the first step, is a little move up past this kind of downtrend line that we've been dealing with here as a first step that the bulls might be stepping in, and we could be getting a move to the upside. So this would be step 1 here, and then I want to see 325 break, and then we're looking at 3356. So when these levels come into play is when we start approaching it. How are we approaching these levels? Are we going to blast it and then come back to it and then find continuation? Or are we going to come to it all corrective and then dump like we did over here? All right, so that's why it's important to not only make sure you know where these levels are, but know when they print how to play them. Again, nothing's 100%, but that's typically what I do. If we come up to it all corrective, this becomes a piece of confluence for my short. If we come up and blast up and we come back to it, this becomes confluence for my long. So levels are pretty key in my method. I would suggest using them for yours. But back on the daily, again, if we end up breaking this level, I think the next level is going to be in this area here, down at 25. I think is a good spot to start looking. Don't have a lot of support resistance in here, but we do have a lot of congestion. So there could be some supply down here that's missing, and we're going to bounce up. But these are the next 2 levels that I'm keeping an eye on if we do start dumping down even further and accelerating away from the top here. But we still have our corrections are facing up. Again, as always, the big move is we want to see an impulsive move up and then corrections starting to face down where we get a nice trend change up. This level, if we're not done yet and we're still dumping down a little bit here, I'm looking for either a break again and then correction to it for continuation, or a breach. If we come down just a little bit and we do an impulsive move up, I'm looking for a correction to it or a move up. All right, so that's what I'm looking for on ETH. A nice quick one here. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, definitely leave a comment down below. If you want to learn more about technical analysis, I would definitely recommend coming here to the site. This is where I learned basically all of my technical analysis. And we do have a free sample here you can take advantage of and check out. And if you like it, we are running a 50% off for the courses and membership here. So definitely come check that out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Trade safe, trade clarity. Take it easy.